All right, we'll start with an opening statement from Coach.
Tough night tonight. Give Monmouth all the credit. They came out. They played with the correct energy. They made shots. They defended well. They put us into some situations where we played uncharacteristic, especially over our last couple of weeks of the season. Um, Again, we came out. We got punched in the mouth, and we did not respond well. And I'll take blame for that. But again, I got to give Monmouth their credit. I can't tell you why we didn't have the same energy, but we did not do the things that we needed to do to make this a competitive ball game, and they exploited that.
We'll start with questions. Questions in the room, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Questions on Zoom, please use the hand raise feature, and we'll get to you as well. Question in front.
Coach, was there something that they were doing today that maybe they didn't show in the first two games? Was there anything that took you by surprise?
I'm not going to necessarily say took me by surprise. They made shots. They made shots at a high level. We really got in each half. We really took the same amount of shots. I think the first half they were 19 for 30. Second half 15 for 30. I didn't see anything that they ran that was that much different. They made shots at a high level, and when you make shots at that level, the confidence of everything you do picks up.
Yeah, and to follow up on that, was some of the shots they were taking that they were making, were those some shots that you were willing to live with because they weren't shots that they generally make?
A few of them, not Collins. We knew that he was a shooter. We made our plan was to switch some of those, this and that. Again, some of those he made were highly contested, but he got more open ones than I thought he should. A couple of those guys we were willing to live with, but they made a few of them tonight. But again, once they begin to make shots, everything they did, rose to another level, and I think we went apart more than we should have came. We should have came together.
Questions in the room? Question in back.
Coach, coming into your first year in the CAA, really taking that leap into mid-major basketball, what do you think your team needs to do, and just what was it like taking that leap from where you guys were to where you are now as a legit mid-major conference?
It was a definite different level of style and physicality in basketball through 13 teams. Again, when we were once in the MEAC and in the Big South, you would play a CAA teams, but maybe one or two a year. To have to play 12 different ones throughout the season, this league is very physical. They have a lot of size. Due to injury and a couple of injuries and a couple of other things, we did lose a couple of our big guys. But again, not to say to make that an excuse. It is a next man up game, and then we have to go out and be able to fight night in, night out. But this is a very strong league, and we're going to have a summer, a definite summer of recruiting that we're going to have to get some players to add to the guys that are coming back. We're going to have to get some players to meet to the measure of this league in size and just basketball ability and IQ.
Questions in the room? Brian?
You already kind of answered, but I'm trying to set up how difficult was it for the season to end with the win?
Whether you're 31-0 or whether you had a tough season, it's definitely tough for it to end, this way. Again, we had a good week of practice. We had a good. We felt like over our last 4 or 5 ball games, we were trending in the right direction. That we felt like we could come in here and play with a different level of confidence and a different level of physicality, but it didn't happen tonight. This is a tough pill to swallow. To be honest with you, very tough. But again, as long as we wake up tomorrow, we'll figure it out.
Talk about the guys who just played their last game.
Some of those guys you're talking about, a group of guys that have been in 3 leagues in 5 years. That's not easy for anybody, and that's not making excuses. It's with these levels with these conferences that we went into, and we felt like each one of them was a jump. There was a different opportunity for each one of those guys, and to go out the way that we did tonight, I feel bad for them because that's the way that their college career is going to end, and it's again on a tough note, tough pill to swallow.
Any further questions? One in the second row.
Hi, Coach. Avery Newport from the University of Maryland. What defensive tactics did you try to use to slow down Jack Collins?
Well, we just wanted to pay better attention to him. A couple of times we felt like he got open because when they would set a cross screen and then a down screen, and we wanted to switch that down screen, we were late on the switch. A couple of times in transition, when we're running back, he wasn't located the way that we felt that he should be located. We tried to do a better job of making sure that we found where he was and paid attention to him, and we were more aggressive on the switches and things that we had when he touched the basketball.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be okay. You get to come in this room, it's probably
Start with an opening statement from Coach.
First, I want to take my hat off to Hampton. They beat us twice this year. A lot of respect for their kids. And Buck, just the whole university. And then we had to play them again this week. They just beat us last week. When we got home, we still had their names on the board. So credit to them because they made us have to really come up with a different game plan to have a chance to beat them. The first two times we played them, Deuce, we just couldn't keep them in front, and then that led to a whole bunch of things happening right from the beginning of the game. Today we changed how we guarded a little bit. We went under some screens. We tried to just keep them in front of us. And if Deuce scored, that would be okay, but not allow him to get everybody else going. And I think that worked for us today. And then on the other end, my guys really did a good job of executing what we worked on. And today the ball went in for us at a high level.
Questions for Jack Collins? Kyle?
Jack, at what point did you feel like this was maybe going to be a special afternoon, like the rim maybe started to seem a little bit wider?
I mean, honestly, 2 times before, like in pregame, we've had this year where I was like, I told my teammates, I'm like, if I'm missing, it's because your passes, like jokingly, obviously. But I went to them and I was like, today I was feeling good, the ball was looking good, and it was going in a lot. And I said it at here and I said it at Syracuse, and those are 2 games I've shot pretty well. So it felt good from when we got here. Got a good warm up in, and my teammates were finding me. I was making shots.
Questions? Go ahead, Marcus. For the student athletes, yes. In the back?
This one is for Jack Collins. What's it like, coming into a game like this? March is where you make your name. And as a player coming in as the 13th seed, what's it mean for you to come in here, have this big game, and give your team that momentum going forward?
Coach was saying this week that we have no real pressure on us. We're the 13th seed. We got no pressure. We got nothing to hold back. Every game could be our last game, and it's really just about coming out every time and playing as hard as we can. And I think that just playing so freely and playing just with an open mind and being able to kind of play however you can in a win or go home kind of place. People play more free and people play harder, and that's what we did today.
Anything else for Jack? Second row.
Jack is one of the only freshmen to start, and then one of the youngest players on the team with some more experienced guys. Kind of what is it like to have so many points and be still one of the leaders out there, even as one of the younger guys and in your first postseason tournament?
I mean, even with all the guys that have been on the team, they've made it really, really comfortable for me. Like just being on a team, being able to take shots, being able to make shots, because it can be hard just coming in right away and trying to make an impact, and you don't want to not step on anybody's toes, but you don't want to be over the top. And but these guys have welcomed me in practice and games and everything, and it's honestly been so cool just to play with these guys. And even though we were losing for a while, these kind of wins they mean a lot to everybody, not just me, but the whole team.
Anything else for Jack? One more for Kyle. Thanks.
So about the 8-minute mark in the second half, you dive on the floor for a loose ball in front of your bench, and then about a minute later, jump into Hampton's bench going for a loose ball. You guys are up by 30 points. I mean, what's that kind of say about your attitude? At this point, you're still going for loose balls like that.
I mean, I don't really change how I play whether I'm down 30 or up 30. I mean, we've had situations this year where we've been down 30. We've had situations now where we've been up 30. And I try not to play any different. I pride myself on defense and And when my shots aren't falling, that's all I can live on. So today I just happen to have, my shots falling. And when you play defense, it's a lot easier on offense. You get fast breaks, get layups, and you get transition threes, and those are the easy ones to make.
Anything else for Jack?
And guys, he's really like this. And he dives in practice too, even when we tell him not to dive anymore, because we weren't winning many games. And if he would have broke his arm like my son did, then we would have been in a jam. So this is just who he is, and he tells you all the time, Coach, you know how I get down. He's never blinked once when we were going through what we went through this season, and he's just been there ready every single day, and it's cool. His family comes every game. They just support. They don't have much to say. They're just happy that their son is playing, and he just attacks it every single day the same way, and we're fortunate that he's with us. And he sets a great example for my little guy that you always try your hardest.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome to stay. You're welcome to head out.
You want me to stay?
Yeah, Jack, I like
I'll stay.
sitting there.
All right. Questions for Coach. Marcus.
Hey, Coach, when you have someone who is shooting like Jack's shooting, do you have a kind of a package of plays that you call to ensure that he's continuing to get the ball? Does it happen organically? How do you ensure that he stays in that flow that he was in today?
Well, in transition, we always try to find him. And then I want to say we have a stack of plays, but in our freelance, there's ways he knows which cut to make that he'll be the guy getting the shot. You need your teammates to be in on it because one of them might have to cut to the rim to make him be the one that is open. Today, Big Miles, ran to the front of the rim. That pulled some people in. We were able to get it out to him on the wing. So it's just team basketball. And then, a couple of them we did call. I called one out of a timeout. But I don't like to take credit. These guys make the right plays. Jack had it rolling today. And, of course, as a coach, you're going to say, hey, let's keep trying to get it to him. Let's keep looking for him. And then when there's a timeout, you try to get something that maybe they haven't seen before because everybody knows all your stuff by now. So we came out of the timeout with a little different wrinkle that they run against us, and I don't think we ran that before, so we were able to get him one at the top of the key. But this is all him. This is him putting in the work every single day, keeping his head all the way up. Okay, guys, we won 6 games. And everybody kept telling us, Coach Williams, Roy Williams, Jimmy Black, all my guys, y'all are a much better team than your record. But when you're 18-22, it's hard to believe that. I'm an old head, so I really believe that. These guys, for them to keep their head up, and for us to bounce back and beat a team that beat us twice, one time just a week ago, is a credit to these kids and their parents for the young men that they are.
And not to rush you through this win, but what does, going into the evening and tomorrow morning look like for you as far as preparation for the quick turnaround?
Oh, I'm going to hang out with my man. This is Julian. He's 11. He's getting his cast off. My wife is here with her mom. My niece is here, and I'm going to enjoy this, okay? That's what happens to us. We act like we're not human. I won 6 games this year, guys. This is a big one, okay? First time in the CAA, and we get to stay to second night. No, I'm not looking forward to looking at Spiker down the other end with that big old center he got punching our stuff all over the place. But we get to play again in the CAA tournament. We have another 1-game tournament. And if we can come out on top, then we'll get another chance. But I'm going to enjoy my family. We know what our plan is going to be tomorrow, and the kids probably already know too. Our assistants they've already been watching, so I'm going to tell them to relax and spend some time with their family too. And then we'll get our guys up early and get ready we'll probably have a meeting tonight. But I want them to enjoy it. I want them to rest their bodies. I want them to have fun with their moms and dads because we didn't have a lot of fun. A lot of games that didn't go our way. So we're going to enjoy this. I know what Drexel does. I know in my mind what I got to do against them. I'm going to let them have a great night. The coaches will meet later after the team, and then we'll come out here and give it a run again.
And you've mentioned that it was a rough year. Just how has some of your former teammates and some of the people like you mentioned, Roy and Jimmy Black. How have they supported you through some of the tough times?
Well, first off, my athletic director, Jeff Stapleton, is in the back, and he's been right with me every day. And then I don't know if you noticed, our president sits front row. Okay, he was here today, front row. He sits front row. Well, when your AD is there all the time for you, and your president and his sons and his wife, and at the end of the year, I was walking out. We were having 2,000-3,000 people at our game when we haven't won many games. Well, that's Monmouth basketball right there. So, just staying ready. I thought we had a good team out on the floor most nights. We just got outmatched a bunch of times, and then I get aggressive and I want to take something from somebody, and then that probably wasn't best for my kids on some nights. So I'm always ready. I'm always going to try to win. I'm a fighter. I've always been that way, and my team fights too.
Patrick.
You've mentioned the how this season has gone, and I know it's not done yet, but how much does having a performance like this that you can fall back on and look at as when you're in the offseason and say things can go well, this group can do this,
Well,
how valuable is that going to be, you think, for you guys?
No, I've never lost faith that we could still do some things. You learn a lot about yourself when you're not winning. Okay, I don't know a lot of you in this room. I've won a lot. It's really not been fair how much I've won. Okay, and now I have a son graduating from Bucknell in May. I have an 11-year-old that, I've been married 26 years. I've known Joe from when we were both at Providence. Like I've had a very fortunate life. I've been the coach at Monmouth for 12 years. I was like a big face guy when I got the job young and didn't have all these grades, and I've been fortunate to raise a family in West Long Branch with some great, great people. So I'm probably the luckiest guy going. Hopefully we're going to get to stay a couple more nights. Everybody's been supportive, all Carolina people, but just some friends. Everybody's been there for our group. And we're just going to continue to try to put the right kids in Monmouth uniforms so we can have more success. I don't like being in this game. I told my team this morning, this is the last time we'll be in this game. No disrespect to anybody else. This is not okay with me, and it's not okay with our people. But this is where we are right now, but we get to play another day, and I'm super happy about that.
Got time for one more? Kyle.
Coach, when you reach this point in the year, in March, and having played for Coach Smith and all the success that he had and you had on his teams, is there any lessons that you took as a player that you're able to kind of implement as a coach at this time of year?
Well, you prepare every single day, okay? You prepare. I remember, people talking about this season. When I was a junior, we lost 11 times at North Carolina. Yep, I was just like this team that's playing for them right now. The Duke fans were saying NIT, NIT when we won at Duke on senior day. That probably got us in. Then we went to the Sweet 16. Coach Smith never blinked. Coach Smith, we had practice, we had the thought of the day, offense and defensive emphasis, and then we started practice and we did the things, and then he'd do the breakdown, and we just kept working on what was Carolina basketball. I am not him, but I learned from him, you keep working. That's why we were able to win today. These kids, they still believe. Even though we haven't won a lot of games, they still believe we can do some things. And because you don't change. I didn't change what I was teaching. You teach the right things even when it's not going your way. I probably should use nicer words than I was using some of the times, but you teach the right things. And then the kids appreciate it because they know you're teaching them the right things. Therefore, you could come out after you haven't won a lot of games and maybe surprise some people. It won't be a surprise tomorrow with Drexel because we had a one-game success. So Spiker's going to have them extra ready because I'm sure the first time we played them, they beat us badly. I was like, man, maybe this league is going to be a problem for us. And then, we play them a month later and we outplayed them. So I know how Spiker does it. He's going to have those guys super ready, and hopefully we'll give them a good run tomorrow.
All right, we got to wrap things up here. Thank you. Appreciate everyone being here. Monmouth will play Drexel tomorrow at 2:30.
Thank you.